Hello and welcome to UC Today. My name's David Dungay and today I'm joined by CEO of Enreach, Stijn. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks, David. Great to be here. I'm doing great, actually. Just came back from Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. Great to see events happening again. So I have a positive experience there, and I hope to bring some of it here to the Netherlands now.
Great. Okay. Well, look, we spoke not too long ago about one of your contact center solutions. We're going to talk about the convergence of contact center and UCaaS today. So I'm really excited to get into a hot topic in the market right now. But before we get into that, can you give us a bit of an introduction to Enreach and yourself?
Enreach is a European organization. I'm fortunate enough to be the CEO. I have co-founded the company called VoiceWorks in the Netherlands, which was one of the founding members of Enreach. Enreach is a leader in the cloud contact center market and the cloud UC market, I would say. And we add connectivity, productivity, and also mobile integration to those fields. So we are creating one converged offering in many different European markets, where we are, in often cases, the key challenger in the market, challenging the status quo with our solutions and trying to make sure that the conversion into the cloud, which we see happening all over Europe right now, is a success and that it works in all different environments and with all different networks.
Fantastic. Well, that's a great place to start. I really want to dig into that vision and that strategy around this converged contact solution. Can you tell us a little bit more around that strategy and that vision of yours?
Well, for us, originally it all started with voice, of course. I remember when we started in 2005 in the Netherlands, it was all about the cloud PBX functionality. And later on, messaging and video got added to that. And this is when we started calling it UC, or Unified Communications, in the market. Now, recently, I would say, as Enreach, we have done some acquisitions in the contact center sphere, so the CCaaS sphere, basically. And what we see is a lot of overlap between those markets happening more and more. We see many customers who might not realize they are in need of a contact center solution, but have a real use for it. Maybe not full-time for a large number of agents, but then for a smaller number of agents and often part-time. So we see the UCaaS and the CCaaS market coming together. And there's not really a term for that. So for this, actually, we started to think about something else, which we call converged contact solutions. And for us, it doesn't stop at UCaaS and CCaaS, actually. We also consider mobile to be a very key part of that. As Enreach, we are a full MVNO in 9 different markets in Europe. And we believe there cannot be a truly effective communication solution, whether or not we're talking about contact centers or standard UC, without having proper mobile integration. And with proper, we mean proper network-based, when incoming mobile calls can be captured by the UC service. We are leaders in that in many different markets, including the Dutch market, where it all got started for us. And it's very clear that there's a large demand for this spreading throughout Europe. And the biggest example of that is Finland, for instance, where we are offering contact center solutions integrated with mobile, and large number of contact center agents working very often purely from their mobile device, often even on the GSM audio call. And we are able to integrate all of that into one solution. And then finally, for us, it's not converged contact solutions if we don't also add the connectivity to it. So we're talking SIP trunking, numbering, but also often broadband services that we have added into the mix. And even very recently, we are starting to encroach now into the productivity area, where for some customers, they say, well, that's great that you offer all of this, but can you also offer me Teams integration or a CRM solution integrated with this? Now, we don't build these solutions ourselves, but we are able to resell it and integrate it all into one package. And for us, the big part of this vision is that we see customer buying behavior changing. When we started, it was very often the case that customers said, we need a replacement for our on-premise PBX. Do you have something for me? We expect and we see already in certain markets that the customer buying behavior is changing, and more they are asking for, hey, how can we collaborate best between employees? What CRM solution should we use, or what complete workspace solution should we use? So it becomes more important to consider yourself as either a UCaaS or a CCaaS vendor as part of that bigger ecosystem, and also, when needed, start to resell some of those ingredients to make sure you're offering a complete solution to the customer based on their needs, and not just one ingredient that might get sold along or might not. So for us, this is a big part of our strategy, moving from basic UCaaS into what we call converged contact solutions.
I just want to pick up on that mobile integration piece you spoke about, Stein. How important is that integration in with your approach in sort of today's landscape?
Yeah, it's very important. I would say it's. I think for us, it's part of our history. We started branching out into mobile because we saw in the market mobile employees who were on the road in their cars, who were part of the PBX, but also not part of the PBX in the sense that their colleagues couldn't see if they were busy on a mobile call, etc., etc. This was why we added mobile integration in the first place. This was done in the Netherlands in 2012. We got started with this, so 10 years ago today. And until this day, we are further able to integrate mobile into our solutions than any of the competitors in the Dutch market. So we're quite proud of that. Now, and very recently, I gave you an example of contact center solutions where it's needed, but also if I can give you a concrete example for Microsoft Teams. When you are in a Microsoft Teams call and you get an incoming call on your mobile phone, it will disturb that ongoing Teams call. And maybe you want to play back a busy tone to the person calling you, or maybe you want to reroute that call. But all those things are not by default possible, and it becomes a bit of a hassle and a distraction. Now, we, for instance, in the Dutch market are able to provide you with mobile integration for Teams, where we can say, hey, we see that you're busy on a Teams call, and based on that, we can reroute the incoming native GSM call on your mobile. So just all of these things help make life a lot easier. And we see a big future for this. We see a future where you could say, I'm in the car, calling on my mobile phone in the car. I'm arriving at the office. I open up my laptop. We recognize that ongoing call and we're able to convert it into a Teams call or into an Enreach video call, even add further participants to it without breaking the flow, without breaking the audio stream, and just continuing that conversation instead of having to exchange login details, etc., which you might end up not doing, and then you lose that flow of the conversation. So for us, it's all about that, being able to move from device to device independently, from network to network, including the use of your mobile phone number. And yeah, we've seen there is a large demand for this in many different markets. In the Danish market, we are very successful with this. In the Dutch market, in the Finnish market, and we see it happening more and more also in, for us, a bit more new markets in this regard, like Germany, like Spain, where we've also recently started with these services.
Fantastic. Maybe you can we can dig into those. Where you're seeing this demand as well. Particularly at SMB level, and how are you creating value for both those SMB type of businesses and those more enterprise type of businesses.
With regards to mobile, you mean, or the mobile integration?
With regards to mobile, and of course the whole Converged Contact solution as well.
Yeah, so for SMBs, I think it's all about having one single supplier that can provide the whole solution. I think a typical SMB might be able to, but is often not willing to manage 10 or 12 different vendor relationships. So they are, what we've seen, I would say, over the past 15 years that we've been in business, is an SMB is not looking for as a problem, they want a solution. If you tell them, well, we have a great working UC solution, but your broadband connection is not working, or your mobile phone provider is not providing the right quality, or your SIP trunk provider is not doing what they're supposed to do, or maybe your CRM system doesn't have the right API implementation, that SMB will not really care. They will say, look, please fix this, I need it to operate, I need it to work. Now, this is where the reseller can play a big role, but also us as a vendor can play a big role there to make life easy for those SMBs. And I think from their perspective, it's all about having that, well, in the UK market, I heard the term one throat to choke. That's a bit of a negative way to phrase it, but in general, one point of contact that takes care of that whole package for the SMB. Now, in the larger enterprise segment, I would say converged contact solutions are equally important, but very often Enreach will not be the one providing all of those ingredients, but because we're able to provide those ingredients, we are able to work really well with others who can supply certain other ingredients. I can give you an example. For instance, again, in the Scandinavian market, we have some pretty big customers, and this is where we work together with companies like Salesforce, like Microsoft, who provide, for instance, in this case, Dynamics or the Salesforce CRM system. We provide the voice elements to it, in some cases also the video elements and the mobile elements to it, and then we are together able to create this converged contacts experience for the end customer. And we see also there that, especially throughout and after the pandemic, many of these different integrations, especially the mobile integration, is no longer a nice to have, it's a must have. So we see that also larger enterprises are converging these different solutions into one, but often they will use an integrator or a reseller to help them do it. And we think we can be the key partner for them because we've done it ourselves and we're really able to do it properly.
Well, let's pick up on that reseller point or that channel partner point. How are your partners? How are you helping your partners build extra value on top of this proposition? What's happening around that ecosystem?
Well, first of all, we've, as Enreach, have always been extremely partner-oriented and partner-friendly. The majority of our business is driven by partners, and I would say very broadly we have two different types of partners. We have carrier service provider partners who are able to host our software solutions in their own networks and premises. These are our largest partners who are often themselves carriers in different markets. And we have our reseller partners. And with our reseller partners, when we say resale, or sometimes we call it wholesale, we mean you as a reseller are owning the end customer relationship. That's a foundation on which we were started, and we've never touched that. We've never gone around our resellers to go directly after the customers. So it's written in the contracts, you as a reseller own the customer. We are able to provide white label options, I would say, beyond anything that is standard in the market. You're able to basically customize everything. We are providing you with an OSS, BSS portal that will enable you as a reseller to bill our solutions or even including other solutions to the end customers using your own PDF invoice layout, even getting the customers money from their bank accounts automatically. We help with all of that in a way where we put the partner and the customer first. So ideally, when you are a reseller or a wholesaler of VoiceWorks or even Enreach more broadly throughout Europe, you feel that you can focus on the customer. You feel that you can focus on the sales process, on the support process, and we take care of the rest in a way without going after your customers, without having any desire to invoice them ourselves or have a contractual relationship with them. We allow you as a reseller to keep that and build up long-term value in your business. And I think that's something that for us is a core principle.
Yeah, that's another hot topic of debate in the partner channel right now, the ownership of that customer. So yeah, that's great to hear. Look, we're coming towards the end of the session now, Stijn. But before we go, I do want to ask, what can we expect from the Enreach camp this year? Every time we speak, there seems to be something new and exciting that's happening, and also just around the corner. So what can we expect from your side this year, and how's that going to impact both your partners and those end users as well?
Yeah, I think this is a very exciting year for us, as is any year, but especially this year. We've just launched Enreach Contact, which is our unified communications and contact center solution in the Spanish market, for instance, and in the French market. And we're bringing that new product now also into our core markets, which is, for instance, Germany, the Netherlands, but also Denmark and the Scandinavian and Nordic territories. So for us, bringing those solutions into the market and further developing them, we are going to launch a whole new set of clients with, I would say, industry-leading potentials for branding. So if you want a purple solution out there, we are with you and we'd love for you to use our nice purple solution. But if you are a reseller and you have your own branding, you are able to customize those clients and offer them also to your end customers in your own look and feel. Just another way of putting the partner and the customer ownership of the partner really front and center there. So I think that's a key exciting part of what we're bringing to the market. Additionally, we are bringing converged contact solutions into many different new markets. So we didn't have mobile in the Spanish market. That's something we're introducing there now. And in the Spanish market, this level of mobile integration into the PBX is not something that is often seen, especially not in the contact center space. So this is something we're very excited to be launching over the next few months. And we think there's a large demand that we're going to tap into there in the Spanish market specifically. And then I can take another example. In the French market, we have just gotten started with this new white label partnering model, which in the French market, including our portal, is quite unique. So that's also something we have just brought to the market, and we hope to bring with more partners into the more French customers over the next few months. So I would almost say it's too much to mention, but in general, we are bringing our Enreach Contact suite of solutions with converged contact solutions into many different new markets. And we're going to build on top of it a lot of different new solutions, including new clients, but also very advanced, I would say, artificial intelligence-based bot solutions that we have launched and are about to launch in many different new markets. So we're talking smart voicemail assistants, an automatic assistant that will help you deal with incoming calls when you're not available. I gave the example of Teams. What if our voice bot could answer that call on your behalf and say, hey, actually David is in the middle of an interview right now, but if you think you're really that important, just press 1 and you can still get forwarded to him. So something like that, smart assistants, that's something we have now in the lab, and in certain markets we're playing around with it, and we want to bring it to the market as soon as possible. So there's a lot to be seen and a lot to be brought to the market based on all the acquisitions we've done and all the integrations we've been working on for the past 3 years.
Well, I look forward to keeping up with the Enreach story for this year and beyond. Well, look, Stijn, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks a lot, David. Great to be here, and hope to see you soon again.
And thank you for watching. You've been watching me, David Dungay, on UC Today. If you like today's conversation, please give us a like and a share on social media. That's it from me. See you next time.